Alright, what up YouTube? Alright, so listen, what I'm doing right now is actually adjusting the alignment on the car. So this is the way I found on YouTube, just watching other people's videos to be able to actually find a good way to adjust your alignment at the house without having to go to the shop and spend them extra bucks. You know, we all teaching each other, so I figured I'd put this out here for the boxes. Alright, so what we got going on right now is you need 2 jack stands. Alright, you're going to need 2 jack stands. You're going to need you a string long enough to be able to go around the car so you connect it to both jack stands. Alright. Now, what you're going to be doing is that you're going to be adjusting the alignment to make it nice and true so that it actually goes, the wheels are lined up with the front and the back wheels are lined up together. So what you do is you want to make sure that string runs across the equator of the tire, so you want to make sure it runs across both center dust caps. Well, this one right here, and also around back. Alright, so as you see, it's going to go around the back of the car, and it's going to just basically run straight there. Now this line, as you keep going around the car, let me see here, right here, same thing. Alright, it runs straight up to the front. Boom. Now, when you're looking at it, like you said, you wanted to make sure it's as true through the middle as possible as it can be, because that's going to keep everything nice and true. Now they say what's going to happen is that you want to make sure, you see how this is tight right here? When you can actually see it, boom, like a tension wire, tight on the front, and right here on the front of the tire, it's just touching it, you see? But it's touching it just enough, alright? So that's what you want to look at right there is to make sure where you know these are true and straight. So you want to do the same thing up front. Alright, this one right here, where I've just did the adjustment, what I'm going to do is I'm going to back it out so y'all can see what I'm talking about. So, right here it's touching, in the front it's now touching. Now before I started it wasn't really doing that, so I'm going to show y'all what that looked like real quick. Now, I did bring out my can of penetrating oil. I really don't need it, but I just figured I'd grease up the screws anyway, because everything under there is fresh, but here it is. Let me show y'all real quick, hold on. Now what they say is that it's better to do this while the tire is on the ground so you can get the correct adjustment. Now this right here, these 2 bolts right here, basically the sleeve that actually holds both inner and outer tie rods together, okay? So what you're going to do is that to be able to push the wheel outwards, which means you're going to push this front end like this is going to go out, you're going to be doing this way. Alright? You turn it towards the back of the car. That pushes the wheel outwards. Now, obviously the vice versa is going to be, you want to bring the wheel in, you pull it in this way, you turn it towards the front of the car. Alright, but you do have to unloosen both bolts to be able to get that done. So as you see, what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you kind of how it was, where I'm pushing this front end out. Now, to make this front end slide easily, when I'm actually moving it back and forth because it's on the ground, it was a trick I saw online. They said basically what you do is you get you a piece of linoleum or something, right? And you put it under the tire and grease it up. So I just used some regular cooking grease or whatever, threw it on a piece of little linoleum squares, you know, the joints you get from the dollar store or something. And basically that joint slides back and forth with ease. So that's another way for you to just be able to make sure the tire can slide back and forth while you're getting this job done. Alright? So that's the linoleum there right there. And like I said, pushing this joint to the back, this is kind of, I'm going to show you what it was looking like as I twist it. Now it's pretty easy, I'm just twisting it around. But let me show you what it looked like. Alright, so now you can see what I'm talking about. So if your alignment's off, you see how this front joint touching? So look at this right here. Boom. Let me see if I can get it right there. It is that angle. So you can see it's a lot of space between the tire and that cord. That means your alignment's off just a hair, but the point is those hairs can be able to mess up a lot of stuff, especially when you're driving in the rain and the weather. You know, your tires aren't really going that well. Always sound like you're kind of screeching corners when you're turning. So whenever you do some suspension work, you definitely like to do an alignment. But now you know you ain't got to take it to a shop. You can do this at your house with a couple of simple joints. Alright, so this is the thing right here. So I'm going to readjust it so you can see what's going on. And you'll notice that tire is going to now come back out because I'm pulling the front end tighter. This tire will readjust and it'll come flush to this line. And that means I got everything nice and tight. Right there. But now y'all can see the gap between. You see I can see my finger right there. Alright, so now y'all can see that basically the line is now true. It's touching on both of these joints now. Like I said, all I did was a simple twist of the turn. Got it to the point where everything's straight. It's touching nice and good on the back end. Where the lines, boom, right there on it. That's what it is. Now I'm gonna just tighten the bolts up and we're good to go. So there you go. That's your alignment job. Alright. Simple tools. The point is it works. Now everything's lined up nice and straight so you can ride good. Both sides. Yeah, there it is. Alright, YouTube. That's just another one from me. Alright.